Choices!
Welcome to our film documentary. We have been exploring the choices people make and the impact of those choices.
We have also learnt how to use different equipment involved in making a film.
We have been exploring the choices people make and the impact of those choices.
We have shared our stories and interviewed others. The last part of the project saw us visiting 2 different prisons
where we had the chance to interview young offenders.
We hope you enjoy our film and see that the choices you make can affect our lives forever.
When I was 13, I stole a keyring off a bag in Primark. It wasn't planned, I just did it, and we walked out of the shop thinking we got away with it. Suddenly the police came behind us, walked us out of the shopping centre and into a police car. I felt scared, worried of what my mum and dad was going to say. I didn't know what was going on. They took me home and came in the house to talk to my mum and dad. I felt really embarrassed. A week later, I had to go and see someone from the youth offenders team. There were 9 other people like me, and we all had to share what we had done. I felt scared. I'm not very confident. We watched some videos and it made me think about what I had done. Even though I was scared, this experience, I have done it again. It wasn't good what I did, but it was my choice. I didn't care what other people thought. This time I was lucky I didn't get caught.
Well, me and my mates were at school and we were really bored at break, so I thought we'd go roaming round, and we went into a closet and we found some money in a memory sass bag, and then we took that and then we went back to his lessons, and then at the end of the day we went home, but we got caught.
When I was 10 years old, I used to live in a town called Mexborough. I lived in a rough area, and everywhere you went there were drugs, or crime, or people robbing and fighting. I followed that road for 2 years. I took loads of drugs. My father left us and my mum was a full-time bed addict. She would take drugs, go to sleep and leave me to look after my brothers. I would have cannabis, methadone, ket, MCAT, amphetamines, crystal meth and alcohol. I didn't do it because I liked it. I did it because I could. No one was there to say no or you're grounded. On the 12th of August, the day that I found out that I could go into foster care, and everything has been going great since. I've been in care now for 3 years, and my mum, she's been off drugs for 3 years, and so have I.
Police got involved and I got put on a conditional caution, not just for that bit, some of the wrong choices that I made.
For about 2 years, I started feeling very inadequate and extremely conscious about how people perceived me, and became very much involved with a crowd of people who were very negative. As I got to know this particular group for a while, I got to know a boy who I thought was understanding and nice, and later he became my boyfriend. Eventually he introduced me to cocaine and MCAT and FET. At this point I was never going to school. I was always running away from home, so I thought, why not? I've got nothing to live for.
The majority of my work is antisocial behaviour with young people, but then I have a radio on at all times and I get called from the control room as and when jobs come in my area. It's hard because you take each individual how you find them. Some you can see are easily led, for example, and they just need perhaps an arm round them or just a bit of help. But then you have others that are just
determined to be the things.
I would say determined, but that's just what they do, and you can, as much as you want to help them change, you can see you want to. It's going to be tough.
Yeah. Dirty. Up north we get dirty too. I wouldn't say murky. Up north I get dirty. Like lunchtime at a nursery. Where you been if you ain't heard me?
I was kind of rebellious, kind of angry at everything, you know, and my biggest outlet for that was drugs, which is a common thing that a lot of young people turn to these days. I used to justify it by all means, you know, I need this, I've been so badly done to, it makes me feel better, etc, etc. But basically what it did was it lowered my motivation to actually succeed, to do anything. It clouded my judgment. And it generally just dug myself deeper into a hole, which ultimately one day led me into prison.
What drugs did you take?
Like I said, I'll be totally honest in this interview. I've taken a lot of different drugs. My biggest problem was cannabis. I was a cocaine addict. Lots of different things, ecstasy, MDMA, generally pretty much the whole roster, what you can think of.
How did you get into prison?
How did I get into prison? Well, I was one day like pretty out of it, pretty high, drinking vodka, and when I said it clouds your judgment, I'm not a very violent person, but it made me violent. I got into a fight in Barnsley town centre with two older people that, I used the excuse for a while that they were being racist and I hate racism, which they were, but it was no excuse for what I did. Obviously I beat these guys up, caused a whole host of damage to the local area and ended up in prison.
Where have I been? Breaking out of a place so low, making moves so I'm moving, yo. Doing shows and selling CDs, bro. Hiding away, making money grow. At the top of my game, you can't better my flow. I'm like the...
When I came out of prison, I was generally still quite angry. Thought the world owed me something, which it didn't, because you've only got yourself to rely on, and if you open your eyes up, there's a lot of opportunities out there, but I was clouded by them, and it just led me. I became homeless, struggling for rent, because I was spending all my money on drugs, things like that, and it just led me down a bad path, like I say. But I did change that around eventually.
Well, we've just been to a prison where there's been quite a lot of people who've committed crimes, which is, some can be our age or 1 or 2 years older. And you can just think, well, if I'm like gonna keep going down the path that I've been once, I could end up like them. When we arrived, I felt quite, well, I won't say quite, I'd say I was really nervous. Once we met that guard, and I felt a little more comfortable, and when we went into that place where cells were, it was a little cramped, so as though that's all you can go into, and then when we went in cells that were even more cramped, and I couldn't take it. Right, when I went in, I didn't know what to expect. From prisoners when we were in that room. I didn't know if they were going to be aggressive, intimidating me. I'd look at you. If they were really calm and honest with their answers. At first, when I walked in, I felt quite scared, because I looked at them and I thought, wow, they're prisoners. Made me feel like reality check. Totally gonna change. Before we went in, like, oh yeah, I'd do this. Oh yeah, we'll go and put that window. Not much, is it? But then after stories I've heard about daft things may seem, from like doing something like that, could end up in prison. So just think twice about what you're doing.
H&P style, say it
prison
to interview these prisoners
about this
documentary
that we're doing called Choices.
I feel nervous because I'm scared of what they do if I were actually a person going to prison and what they do to you and like how they treat you when you're in there, and if that were actually me and if I were actually going to prison, then it'd just be a living hell.
I'm really scared. Like I prefer, like, if I were a prisoner in there, I think I'd be terrified.
Well, I'm a bit nervous because like I don't know what it's like and I ain't been before, and like seeing what they live like, just, you know. It makes me feel like I wish I'd never did them, because if I ended up in prison, I'd not know what to do.
If I got a criminal record, I wouldn't be able to be a policewoman, and there'd be like no left for me, because that's my ambitions, to do what I want when I'm older.
Why do you want to be a policewoman?
Because I want to help people, like kids like in care and stuff, like teenagers that are being bad, or like adults that are on drugs that need help.
My name's Tom West. I'm a Community Enterprise Coordinator at Horizon Community College. The highlights, one of the main highlights for me is seeing the students grow in confidence. When we started this project, we started with 12 students. We've got 7 at the moment now, after different obstacles put in the way, but the 7 who are here on this project, they have grown so much over these last few months. A number of them started off on this project as 2 hours every week. Some of them didn't speak at all for the first couple of sessions, and then after that, once they got comfortable with the surroundings, with what we're talking about, seeing that everybody had made a wrong choice, everybody was in the same boat. And they finally came out of the shell, started talking to us, started talking to the peers, and to see them grow in confidence throughout this project for me has been, I must say, the number one highlight. On a personal note, my main experience that I will, for the want of a better word, never forget from this project are the 2 visits to the prisons. Not what I expected. The visit to Wetherby, going on the decommissioned wing. I don't know if that's the right word, but going on the wings. That really opened my mind. Opened my eyes, should I say? Sorry. Going inside the cell and seeing what life is like for some of them, 23 hours of the day. Not a nice place. As a school, we hope to use this film documentary as a teaching resource. We want to put it into some of the lessons, some of the social studies lessons, things like that, and open it up to their peers, people who are on their same wavelength, people who could have made wrong choices like them. I mean, these were just a small minority within the whole Horizon community. From a school's point of view, working with the local creative organisations has given the students not only the skills for this project with filmmaking and lots of other things, but also the chances to visit the prisons and the things that we've visited on this project. Things that without linking with these organisations, then it's not something that we would normally do as a school, but through this project it's given long-lasting memories for these students, and ones they will never forget, and ones that hopefully will stick in their brain. And if it does come to the road where they need to make the right choice from this, hopefully they will make the right choice.
Hello, my name's Cora. What I've liked about the project is visiting a prison and what I've never done before, and knowing how to use technology on a camera. What else I've liked is knowing I've got confidence and not scared to talk to anyone no more.
My name is Ellis, and I've enjoyed this project. The thing I've enjoyed most is visiting prison, because it's a different experience, and it's like different to what you see on telly and stuff. This project has helped me think more about the choices I make, because the consequences can be really bad. It's been good doing this project because it's going round schools and helping other children listen to our stories and see the impacts that bad choices can have.
Hi, my name is Connor, and what I've really enjoyed in this project is visiting the prison, because I realise what it's like to be in a real life environment of prison, and the rules what the prisoners have to follow, and what prisoners look like, and how different choices they made to get there. What I've really learnt is how to use camera equipment, and probably the biggest thing I've learnt is not to take the wrong choices, and think before you do things, and just don't end up doing the wrong choices.
My name's Sasha, and I want to tell you what I've learned, what experiences I've had. I think I thought prison were going to be horrible and hard and scary, but it's not. It's like the normal people. I expected them to be evil and just proper strict and stuck up, but the normal people. And when we went in, I didn't know prisoners were the actual prisoners, because I thought they had to wear this green jumpsuit that I saw them in, but they were gardeners, and I thought that the people in the prison, I didn't think they were them. I thought there were some other people coming in to interview the prisoners. So when I got in there, I was like, where's the prisoners? And I didn't know where they were. And then they were in there, and I was sat next to them, and I didn't know. And then everything we've been talking about choices, and we reflected on things that we've done before. It feels like it didn't mean anything what we did before. It doesn't count. It weren't meant to happen. It happened, but it don't count anymore, because growing up. And when you grow up, you realise things and you see things, what you do in that. This course, I've loved everything about it. It's not sitting in a classroom and doing work. We went out and we interviewed PCSOs, and we interviewed teachers that are youth offending people, and we learned how to use equipment and that, and it's been a very good experience that I think personally it'll help me in future to become what I want to do, and I want to be a policewoman, so it gives you that experience of seeing that normal people can be arrested.
My name is Matthew, and I've chosen to this project because I can relate to some of the stuff that's been happening in it, and I've wanted to try new things like get involved and all that, so it can go on my CV, and it just makes it a little more impressive if you get something on your CV like extracurricular activities and that. This young offender were from London, obviously offended, committed a crime, and then he got sent to Wetherby prison, and that's really far away from London. And my brother were offended, and then he got sent down to Liverpool, down to London. But we were from Liverpool, so that's really far away. So like they're cutting your family off, so you can't really have your priorities straight.